Hello, my name is Nancy Oberzut, and this is Team Six's presentation on the Thomas Green case. So for this case, we had to provide an overview of the case and the background of dynamic displays, as well as the key players in this case, which include Thomas Green, Frank Davis, and Shannon McDonald. This case talks about the company Dynamic Displays. Key people in this specific case and in the company include Thomas Green. He is a senior market specialist. He's a newer employee to the company who has recently been promoted. Frank Davis is the director of marketing, and he is also Thomas Green's supervisor. And then Shannon McDonald is division vice president. She is the one who promoted Thomas Green into the position that he is currently in. So she can kind of be seen as a mentor to him in this case. Green began his career at Dynamic Displays as an account executive, and he was recently promoted by Shannon McDonald due to his demonstrated abilities. He had very strong sales performance in his previous role. She noticed his ethic and referred to him as bright and ambitious in the case. So she takes a chance on him to promote him regardless of his lack of managerial experience. She believes that the company needed a fresh perspective, so she decided to take a chance on him and promote him. Davis and Green have a tense working relationship that is frequently involves differences of opinions. Davis, Green's supervisor, views him as negative, unstructured, and ultimately not fit for the position that he's in. And then Green views his supervisor, Davis, as power hungry and manipulative. He thinks that his boss is ultimately out to get him and he wants to eliminate his position. Shannon McDonald is kind of caught in the middle of all of this because she's allied with Frank Davis because they are work colleagues, but she's the one who put Thomas Green in his position currently. So she also feels like she has an obligation to help him get through his differences and challenges with Frank Davis. So ultimately, Green's competence and his ambition clashes with Davis's need for authority, and this leads to miscommunication within the organization, conflict management issues, and organizational misalignment and inefficiencies.
So now we're going to speak about the background of the Dynamic Displays company, and we're going to divide it to four sections. The first section is the company overview. So Dynamic Displays was founded in the year of 1990, originally providing self-service technology for banks, mainly through ATMs. A few years later, in 1994, the company expanded into the travel and hospitality industry, creating its self-service check-in kiosk for Discover Airlines. And by 2007, Dynamic Display had become a market leader in self-service technology, holding about 60% of the market and operating more than 1,500 kiosks over 75 airports around the world. Their main clients were airlines, hotels, and car rental companies. The next section is the products and services they provide. So the company offered full service solutions, including hardware, software, engineering, and maintenance support. For airlines, this kiosk made the check-in process faster, cheaper, and more convenient. And just to give you an example, checking in through an agent cost airlines about $3 per passenger, while using a kiosk cost as little as 14 to 30 cents. So Dynamic Displays helped these airlines reduce cost and improve customer experience at the same time. In market and revenue, in 2007, about 80% of the company's revenue came from airlines, 15% from hotels, and 5% from car rental agencies. Because airlines' profit margins were very thin and fuel costs were high, many airlines turned to kiosk technology as a smart way to save money and operate more efficiently. The last section, the industry challenges. So, however, Dynamic Displays soon faced new competition, which was web check-in. This allowed passengers to check in online from home or the office, which was even cheaper for airlines since they didn't need any equipment at all. So by 2006, web checking had jumped from 45% to 64% of US leisure travelers. So the company had to keep innovating and finding new ways to stay competitive in fast-changing industry.
Hi, I'm Gianmarco Lavecchia, and I'm going to give you the background information on Thomas Greene here. The basics is kind of in front of you here, but we're going to get more into the detailed stuff, like what he did. So he was a senior marketing specialist at the Dynamics Display. Now, how he got that position is kind of interesting because he was an accountant who worked under our good friend McDonald here. And after months of doing really good job in sales and being creative, our friend McDonald promoted, after only 6 months, promoted him to the position he now has. And some traits that I'd like to point out and things that I'd like to mention with Thomas Greene is that he's a very intellectual person, assertive, and just very, very creative. And Greene believes in making bold decisions using intuition, which is rather than relying on the forecasted data or the stuff that his coworkers or bosses like to do. And, it kind of sharply contradicts what his supervisor's structured approach was, which wasn't good. And that led to conflict later. Greene's lack of communication with Davis's formal management style and kind of doing his own thing led to misunderstandings and performance concerns, ultimately leading a career of crisis that tests his professionalism. And
so just to give a little background on Frank Davis's career, he is 45 years old. He went to New York University, where he got his bachelor's degree in history, and this occurred in 1986. He then went on to work as a sales representative for Advanced Telecommunication Services prior to Dynamic Displays. And then after that, he became an account executive in the Financial Services Solution Division for Dynamic Displays for about 17 years, and this happened in 1990. And then after that, he went on to become an account executive again, a marketing specialist, as well as a senior marketing specialist with the Travel and Hospitality Division in Dynamic Displays. After that, he went on to get his master's at Suffolk University at the Sawyer Business School, and this happened in 2002. And now he is currently a marketing director for Travel and Hospitality Division.
Hi, my name's Colin Foster, and I will be going over the background of Shannon McDonald. She received her bachelor's degree in marketing from the University of Georgia. She then went on to get her MBA from Northwestern's Kellogg School of Management. One of the first positions in her career was at Quest Airlines as a marketing analyst. From there, she went over to Chicago Consulting Group's Travel and Tourism Division as a strategic consultant. And in the year 2000, she moved over to the company Dynamic Displays as the Director of National Sales for the Travel and Hospitality Division. In November of 2006, she was promoted within Dynamic Displays and became the Travel and Hospitality Division Vice President.